So this class is really aimed at anyone who's ever thought, yeah, I'd kind of like to help out, but I don't know. So we're going to go over a few different ways that you can contribute, big ones, small ones, a few like behind the scenes, that kind of thing. And we'll keep things nice and relaxed. So if you've got a question, just post them in the Discord channel with a queue so that I can spot them easily. Speaking of which, let's move on to some class rules just to keep everything running nice and smoothly. So can you please make sure that you have your microphone set to push to talk? If you have any questions, can you ask them? The best place would be in the text channel. There's a text channel to this voice channel. So if you haven't found it, if you go to the voice channel, if you click on it and it will bring up a little speech mark. And if you go to there, it will come to a text channel. And at the end, we'll have a bit of time as well for questions in voice. Try and stay safe during the class. I'd normally prefer if you stay docked up just so that you're not distracted. There's no practical undocking element of this class. Okay, so these are the points that I'm planning to cover over the course of this class. I'm going to talk about why would you want to give back? Why would you want to give back in the first place? Some reasons why people don't think they can help and why I think that you can. How you can go about sharing what you do know. How you can go about creating content in Eve Uni. How you can help teach and help others to learn. How you can contribute to the wiki. How you can get involved in different staff roles. How you can help out with orientation and new player support, and just some final thoughts as well. So, first question, why? Why would you bother giving back? Well, for one, it's just really rewarding. It's just a really rewarding and nice thing to do. So helping someone out with a question or running a fleet that gives other people something to do, it just feels great. It makes you feel nice and fuzzy. Also, it makes you better at the game because you get to reinforce what you already know and you get to learn more by explaining it to other people. So a really good way for you to learn and to increase the depth of your knowledge is by trying to explain what you know to someone else, because as you'll probably know that once you start explaining something else, it really helps to get it solidified in your own head as well. And then also it helps you build relationships. You get to know more people. The game gets way more fun when you're part of a community rather than just grinding alone and being solo. And it's easier than you think. I'm going to talk to you through this class about some really easy ways that you can help out. And then finally, Eve Uni is built entirely on volunteers. So every program, every class, every fleet, every wiki edit, everything exists because someone like you made it happen. So the more people that help out, even just a little bit, the easier it is for everyone. Okay, so something I hear a lot is, I'd like to help, but... And let's talk through some of the most common doubts that people have. So first of all, people say, I don't have enough time. That is totally valid. This is a game, after all. We don't want you to make it into a second job or spending all your spare time doing it. But the truth is that most of the things you can do to help require very little time. Even just helping out occasionally, just answering the odd question, just joining a fleet, something like that. Just really small time commitments, they can make a really big difference. So as I said on the slide, even 5 minutes helps. What if you say you don't know enough about Eve? Maybe you're new to Eve, you don't really know, what's going on. Yeah, that's totally valid, but also you don't need to be an expert. If you've managed to survive your first fleet roam, if you've managed to set up your overview, if you've managed to even just join Eve University, you're ahead of a lot of people. So you probably know more than you think. And you probably do already have knowledge that is worth sharing, even if you're new to Eve. You don't know where to start. Well, that's why you're in this class. I'm going to try and give you some ideas on where to start, but just generally ask in Discord. Someone will always help you get started. If you say, I want to help, but I'm not sure what to do, someone will definitely be able to give you some ideas. What about if you're shy or you're not confident? Well, that's okay. You don't need to be on voice, so you don't need to be in the spotlight. Just quiet support, like giving people links, giving advice in chat, just a kind word and welcoming someone, that goes a long way. So don't worry, you don't need to be, you know, a fleet commander or anything like that. You don't need to go for the big stuff. Just the little stuff really makes a big difference. People say I'm in a weird time zone, but that's actually useful because we need coverage across all hours. And if you're in a time zone where there's not a lot of activity going on, then that's great because it means that you can be the start. You can be the start of the activity and you can be the change that you want to see. Once people start doing activity in a particular time zone, then more people will start doing it because they'll be like, oh, hey, we never see classes at this hour. Like I'll go to that class and then they learn more and then eventually they will be able to do the classes as well. So being in a weird time zone is actually a really positive thing for us. And then finally, I'm not sure what I'm good at. Well, try lots of things out. That's one of the benefits of Eve Uni. You can try lots of different things and find out what you're good at, what you enjoy, and focus on that. So try out lots of things. So first of all, the most fundamental way that you can help out is just by sharing what you know. And it's probably the easiest way as well. This is just literally just sharing your knowledge, stuff that you've picked up from playing the game yourself that you're passing on to other people. So here's just a few places that you can help people. So you can have a look in general chat in Discord. Have a look in there. There's always people asking questions. You can be there and answer their questions. If you don't know the answer, then perhaps you know someone who does know the answer. Perhaps you can tag them and say, hey, I'm not sure, but at so-and-so person is really good in that area. Maybe they can help. We have a section of the Discord called Mentor Finder. And this is a section where new players can post and say, I would like some one-on-one support with this particular area of the game. And yeah, so they can post and say, I really want support with doing nullsec exploration, for example. And then people who are subject matter experts who know about that area can do a react on their post. And they can say, yeah, I know about that. And they can convo the person and give them some one-on-one assistance with something. This is not an ongoing relationship necessarily. It might just be support with that one particular question they've got or something like that. But it can be if you want it to turn into a longer term relationship with mentoring and supporting them, you can do, but there's no obligation for you to. You can also help people out in game. When you see people in game in the corp channel, for example, asking questions and being a bit confused and stuff like that, then answer the questions. Try and help them. If not, try and signpost them somewhere that they can get the help that they need. So for the wiki, for example. And then let's have a look at communities and SIGs. So if you participate in a community or a SIG, there's going to be people who are new to the community or new to the SIG who are going to want some more information. They're going to want information about joining and the basics and skill plans and that kind of thing. So you can help them out with giving them that information. And then on fleets, if you have been on a fleet before, then to someone who's never been on a fleet before, you're an expert. If there's people in a fleet that you're in that seem a little bit lost and confused, just keep an eye on them, add them to the watch list, maybe drop them a convo and say, hey, if you've got any questions, ask in here. So you can help people out by answering their questions in fleets and that kind of thing. So you might not feel like you know much, but if you figured out one thing, that might be the one thing that someone else is struggling with. So be willing to share your knowledge. That's why we're in Eve Uni, to pass on knowledge to other people. Okay, let's talk about creating content. So we often use the term content creator, but what does that mean? So it just means someone that's creating things for other people to do. And that could be doing fleets, it could be doing PvP fleets, it could be doing mining as a group, it could be doing missions in fleets. It could be something like hosting some casual events. So maybe a trivia night or a scavenger hunt or a karaoke night we have coming up. Just kind of, just chill events for people to get together and get to know each other and that kind of thing. You can always help advertise or assist as well. If you have someone who is a new FC and they're saying that they're going to do a fleet, well, give them some support. You don't have to be an FC to be able to do that. You can just say to them, is there anything I can help with? Do you need some help with special roles? Is there anything that I can help? Is there anything that I can assist the fleet with? Just being that person that's there to provide support is also creating content, not just the FC. And then make sure you share information, share tips, guides, and Q&As. That is also a really good way for people to get involved. So, just sharing information. Remember that you don't need any permission to create content in Eve Uni. You don't need to have a particular role in order to run a fleet or to run an event or even to teach a class. You don't need any permission, just go for it. We can help you with creating content. So if you're thinking that you might want to create content, but you're not sure where to start, then just ask the question and we will definitely help you. Just a reminder at the bottom of the slide, anyone can run content. Just you need to be the change that you want to see. And if you want to see more content, then a really good way of creating that content is for you to do it yourself. Next, let's talk about teaching and how we can help others learn. Eve University is all about teaching. That is why we're here. We're all about education, and teaching is one of the best ways to contribute. And it doesn't have to be anything formal. We normally think of teaching as classes, and classes are brilliant. We love classes. There's a lot of people here in a class at the moment. And if you have a look at our calendar, you'll see lots of awesome classes about loads of different subjects. But also, teaching isn't just classes. So can you be there answering questions? If people are asking questions in a class chat, can you be there answering questions? Just having an informal voice chat. If someone's clearly lost with something, you can just say, hey, let's just hop in voice and I can help explain it to you. Just hopping in voice, you can stream your game and just show them how to do stuff. Just doing a quick demo if someone is lost or confused, or if there's a particular area of the game that you know you're good at, just having 20 minutes of, hey, I'm just going to hop on and stream my game and show you how I do this particular thing. That's really useful for anyone that's watching because they will be able to pick up how you do things, and actually seeing it in real time is really helpful. And then just like recording short videos, that kind of thing. Again, it's really useful. It's stuff that people can refer back to later. We do have a Eve University YouTube channel. So if you do have any videos that you'd like to share, then let us know and we can upload them to the YouTube channel. But all of that also includes teaching. It's not just formal classes. If you are interested in running formal classes, then absolutely we would love you to. We do have a set of cool classes where we have ready-made slides. They are beginner friendly. You just need to hop right in and do them. And they cover really basic topics like introduction to careers, introduction to weapons, that kind of thing. They're intended to be very low level, but very easy to teach. So that's really good for new players to have loads of those core classes scheduled. So if you want to run a class and you're not sure what to run it on, maybe just ask what core classes we have, what core classes we need, and we can give you an idea of what kind of classes that we need running. And if you want to get involved in running classes, if you ask in, I put teaching there, but I think it's Educators Corner. So sorry, the slide's wrong there. Ask in the Educators Corner and we'll be able to help you get started. We'll be able to show you how to create slides, show you how to stream and all that kind of stuff. You just ask in Educators Corner and someone will help you out. Okay, next let's talk about our wiki, because our wiki is one of Eve's best resources and something we are really proud of. So this is entirely built by volunteers. So it's really awesome. Everyone uses it, even CCP use it to remind them of game mechanics, which is pretty hilarious. You don't need any coding skills. You don't need any experience. You can just log in and edit it. So the wiki is really easy to edit. You just need to log in with Eve SSO. You click the little person icon, and then there's a login with Eve button. And if you just click on that, then you can log in and you can start making edits. So you can just do, there's some really easy stuff that you can do. So you can just fix typos. If you're looking at the wiki and you see that there's a typo, just log in and update it. If you find something that's out of date, you can update it. Or if you find something that's out of date and you don't know what the current situation is, but you know that information is out of date, you can also just add a flag to a page to say, hey, I know this is out of date. You can just add the update flag. And then that puts a flag on the page to say this page requires updates. And it also adds it to a list of pages that need updates that someone else, when they're looking at that list, can say, hey, actually, I know about that. I can update that information. So just flagging things for updates. Just clarifying things. If there's something in the wiki that you found confusing and you finally figured out what they were actually talking about, what it actually meant, then just clarify it. Just log in and make it more clear. Jack says, what is Eve SSO and how does it apply to the wiki? Eve SSO is basically, it gives you the ability to log in with Eve. Like you can, on different websites, you can log in with Google, that kind of thing. It's just a way of logging in using your Eve credentials. That means we know who you are. So we are currently running Project Firebird in the wiki. Project Firebird is our project to update the wiki for Eve University's 21st birthday. So this is a massive project and we've kind of just got started. So we started out by doing a wiki sprint where we went through and did as many updates as we could over the course of 2 weeks. That was really successful. We did loads and loads of updates. And then the next step was upgrading the skin of the wiki. That's why it looks different to how you might have seen the wiki before. We've upgraded the skin. We've updated it to the newest version of MediaWiki because the version that we had was really out of date. The next thing is going to be updating the front page because that is really out of date. And we've got people working on doing the front page. That'll be updated soon. And then what we are going to do is add a community guide section where people can set out their guides on how to do things. So that is also something that you can in the future contribute to by writing a guide on stuff that you're familiar with. So when you are editing the wiki, you can use what's called a sandbox. So everybody in the wiki has their own user space where they can make edits and stuff. Without it being on the main wiki. It's not searchable from the main wiki. It's your own page, basically. And other people can view it, but it's your own little space, which is why we call it a sandbox. So if you're wanting to create a new page or a new section of a page, then I'd encourage you to use your sandbox to get used to how you're doing it, get all the formatting right and stuff like that. And then you can move it over to the main wiki. And if you ever need some assistance with the wiki, particularly with stuff like you're not sure if you should make a change or you want people to have a look at a change that you've made and see if it's okay, or maybe you need help with formatting, you want to make something look nicer than it does, then if you just ask in the wiki channel for support, then someone will be able to come along and help you out with that. So contribution to the wiki sounds terrifying, I know, but I promise you it's really easy to do. Once you get started, it does become a little bit addictive. So you might find yourself playing Eve and then thinking, oh, I need to update Eve University's wiki up. So just warning you. Okay, next let's talk about staff roles and how you can get involved with them. Because we have loads of teams and projects across Eve University that will certainly welcome your help. Would welcome your time and perhaps sometimes your real life expertise as well. So we've already covered teaching. That is a way that you can get involved, but that is a way you can get involved by teaching classes. Also, we have teaching officers, and the role of teaching officers is not necessarily to teach classes, but it's to facilitate people teaching classes. So it's to help people out with stuff, to help people out with slides, to keep track of the classes that are being run and which need to be run more, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, teaching officers is a role that we certainly do need more support with. The FC team, if you are interested in FCing, then you can join the FC team, both to get help with your own FC and make you a better FC, but also to support others. And that is a really important job because we have a lot of new players who are maybe doing their first time in an FC role. So, yeah, joining the FC team is a really good way for you to be able to contribute. Even if you're a new FC yourself, if you're at all interested in FCing, I would definitely encourage you to join the FC team. And then events, kind of like teaching. So anyone can run an event, and we've kind of covered how you would go about doing that and creating the content. But also we have events officers whose role, like teaching officers, is to encourage and help and support people to run events. So they're not necessarily the ones that are running the events themselves, but they are the ones who are there providing the support for people and encouraging people, helping people to run events. So if you're interested in facilitating people to run events, then definitely we would like to see you involved as an events officer. With the wiki, again, like with the previous two, so anyone can edit the wiki, but we also have wiki officers. And the role of wiki officers is there's a lot of stuff that they do, but generally they tend to do the helping and supporting people in editing wiki. So helping people out with formatting if they're struggling to format something, giving people feedback on edits that they've done, just keeping an eye on the edits. So reviewing recent edits and seeing who's doing what. Is there anyone who's really standing out as doing awesome stuff? Is there any vandalism? Fortunately, not an awful lot of vandalism, but just fixing that if there is, and that kind of thing. So if you find that wiki is your jam, then we would love to hear from you and for you to get involved as a wiki officer to help other people contribute to the wiki. And then also IT. We have various IT needs that we sometimes need people to do, whether that's building a new page or having a look at a script and stuff like that. I know that we have a lot of people in eVuni who are IT professionals in their day job. And you might think, hey, I just want to come home. I don't want to do IT when I come home. That's totally fine. But if you do, if you're one of those people like my husband who just enjoys doing it, then we definitely would like your help and support in various IT projects. I'm not that great with coding and stuff myself, but Bates can certainly help you out with how you can help get involved in stuff. We do have all our stuff on GitHub, so it's open source, so people can contribute. But yeah, if you are interested in giving us some support in IT, we definitely would like to hear from you. And then outside of, so those are ways that you contribute to the main eVuni as a whole, I guess. But then there's also various SIGs and groups and communities. So if you are active in a SIG or a group or a community, then ask how you can help with them. If you are someone who does a lot of mining and you want to help other people do mining, then ask in the mining channel, say, is there anything that we need, anything that I can help with, and any way that I can support other people who want to do mining. And that applies to any community, any SIG that you're in. Just ask, if you're in the wormhole the wormhole community, and you're interested in helping out, just ask in the wormhole community channel how you can help. And I'm sure there is stuff that you can do. SIG stands for Special Interest Groups. There are various special interest groups, although they are going to be having an overhaul quite soon. They're very new, and we've been trialing one way of doing them, but it's not really working great. So we're going to be doing a bit of an overhaul of them soon. But generally, special interest group is a group of people who are doing a particular type of content together and specific type of content. So keep an eye on what's going on in announcements. There should be some announcements coming up fairly soon about the changes to 6. So yeah, but this applies to any group or community that you're a part of in eVuni. And then, as I've said on the slide, just showing up and being helpful really matters. That's really important. So yeah, let's move on to orientation and new player support. Well, we all know that Eve University is super overwhelming when you first join. You join, there's a load of people, there's a load of channels, there's a load of information that we throw at you and just kind of see what sticks. So yeah, Eve University is super overwhelming for a new player, but so is Eve. Eve itself is super overwhelming for a new player. So, but what we can do is we can make them feel welcome. We can be there, be the person who is answering their questions, giving them support, asking them how things are going, trying to help them find the niche that they enjoy. So try and make them feel welcome. To assist people in doing that, we have an orientation page on Alliance Auth, which does require the student role to access. If you have the student role, then you can access it. I will stream it just in case you do not have the student role. Let me just switch over to it. Okay, so this is the orientation page. So I've gone into Alliance Auth. I've clicked on orientation down here. And what this orientation page is it is basically a list of all new members who have joined Eve University in the last 31 days. So the idea is you can have a look at this list and you can just reach out to people. So you can see who's joined, you can just reach out to them and just give them a hello, a welcome, answer any questions that they have, ask if they're a little bit lost, and just generally make them feel welcome. You know, just having someone reach out to you and just saying, hey, welcome to Eve Uni. You know, this is a great place. I really enjoy it. Is there anything I can help you with? That can make people feel so much more welcome and so much more involved in the community. Because we all know that joining a community is a great way for people to get involved in Eve and just fall in love with the game. So you have a big list here of people who've joined the corp. What you can do is just reach out to them, just have a real conversation. I would suggest Discord is normally the best way to do that. And just help them get settled, show them where to find help, show them where to find content, where to find community. And this isn't about answering all their questions. That's not what this is about. You're not the person who's responsible for answering every question that they have. You're just the person who's being kind and helpful and welcoming them. And from that point, you're just signposting them somewhere. It's not about pushing your own play style. That's the thing. It's not about, hey, I need to find people on this list and try and get everyone into doing exploration, for example, because they might not want to do exploration. You can talk to them about it and say, hey, this is what I do and I really enjoy it. But yeah, it's not about pitching your own play style. It's about just making people feel welcome, making them feel heard, and knowing where to go to if they have any questions. Once you've talked to someone, if you just click this button over here to mark as talked, that just removes them from the list. And that means that they don't get loads of messages from all other people. So just remember to mark as talked once you've reached out to someone. Next, I'm going to talk about Skillbook wallet reimbursements. And actually, I'm going to hop over to another tab for this as well. Okay, so this is a page on the Wiki, which is the Skillbook program page. So let me just, if someone could link that in chat, that'd be really helpful. So this is the Skillbook program. And as background, Eve University will pay for Skillbooks up to 3.5 million ESC per day per person. So that means that new players in particular can benefit from getting their Skillbooks paid for, because we know that Skillbooks are a significant cost for new players. So Eve University takes that cost up to 3.5 million ISK per person per day. If you have the student title, then you can reimburse yourself directly from the wallet. You will have access to the Skillbook wallet under corporation wallets, and then you can just reimburse yourself by making sure that you're following the rules, that your Skillbook qualifies, and just withdrawing the ISK from the wallet. But we have a lot of people who do not yet have the student title. The student title requires you to have been in university for 2 weeks. So we have a lot of people who are wanting Skillbooks in their first 2 weeks, and they don't have the student title yet to reimburse themselves. So one thing that you can really easily do to help support people is reimbursing them through the Skillbook wallet. And this page tells you how to do that under the reimbursing other members section. So literally all you do, they will post in the Alliance channel a list of Skillbooks that they're wanting reimbursement for and how much they want reimbursement. You don't need to check all the prices, okay? You don't need to go through and check all the prices and all the totals and stuff like that. The onus is on them to get it right and to add it up correctly and to make sure they don't exceed 3.5 million ISK per day. If someone's doing something that's like obviously wrong, like for example, if they're requesting 5 million reimbursement, you can tell them, hey, point them to this page and say, hey, it's 3.5 million ISK per day. Can you let me know which skills you want that total up to 3.5 million ISK? But apart from the obvious errors, you're not expected to catch everything. It's the rules are on them to sort things out. Once they've posted, then you can open up your wallet from the Neocom and select the corporation wallet section. And then you click the transfer ISK button. You click transfer ISK, and that will pop up with a new little box, which will ask you who you want to transfer ISK to. You'll put in their name, search for their name, press OK. And then it will pop up with a box saying, how much do you want to send them from this Skillbook's wallet? And what is the reason? For the reason, to be honest, just put Skillbooks. If you're reimbursing yourself, I would tend to say put in the Skillbooks that you're requesting a reimbursement for. But if you're reimbursing someone else, just put Skillbooks. That's fine. And then just press OK. And then the ISK is transferred from the Skillbook wallet directly to their wallet. So you have paid them. If you just let them know in the Alliance channel that the ISK has been sent, and ask them to confirm safe receipt, then that just tells them that they've got the ISK, and it tells everyone else that that request has been dealt with. If you go to reimburse someone and you find out that the Skillbook wallet doesn't have enough ISK, normally if it's below about 10 million, then if you just post in the support channel in Discord, there's a channel in Discord called support where you can create a thread and you can say @manager, Skillbook wallet is low, and then someone will hop on and top it up. So please don't put in ISK into the Skillbook wallet, because otherwise you're just exposing your own ISK, and yeah, it's topped up from central funds. So you don't need to top it up yourself. Just let us know and we will top it up for you. Ruthless, if you want to donate, I'm going to answer that question at the end, if that's all right. That is a good question. I did think about putting it on the slides, but I decided not to because I didn't want to push people to donate. But I will talk a little bit about donations at the end. So here are just some final thoughts and some final takeaways for you. So every bit helps, okay? No role that you can do is too short. You don't need a title for the vast majority of stuff that I've talked about. You don't need to wait until you're super experienced about the game. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be there. You just need to be present. You just need to be kind and be helpful. Make sure you ask questions. If you're ever not sure of how you can get involved or how you can do a particular thing that you want to do to get involved, just ask questions, because I promise you, we love people getting involved and we love people trying to help others out, and we will definitely help you to be able to do that. So make sure you ask questions, and just remember that you can make a difference. Starting today, you can be the person that makes a big difference to a new player. Okay, so those are all the slides. I'm now going to open it up to a Q&A. So if you have any questions you wanted to ask, please do go ahead and post them in the chat channel. And first of all, I'm going to take Ruthless's question about what if you want to donate. So we do accept donations. We are very grateful for donations. But first and foremost, if you're new to EVE University, then the best use of your ISK is probably on yourself. So if you're new or you don't have a lot of ISK to spare, just use it on yourself, use it to enjoy your game. If you get to the point where you do have ISK and items to spare, then we will gladly take them and use them to help support other people. So for example, by reimbursing their ships when they lose them, by paying for free skill books, by going towards the half-price barge program and the other programs and the implants that we give out and stuff like that. So there's lots of things that we use the ISK and the donations for. The easiest way to donate ISK to EVE University is literally right-click on the name of EVE University and go to Give Money. Through that, you can donate ISK. You can also donate items. So in our stations where we have an office, there's a donation container, which is set up in such a way that you can drop stuff in but not take stuff out, because you don't want someone to just clear out all the donations. So you can drop in donations into the donations hanger, and we will try and make use of them. If we can't use them ourselves, we can always sell them and use the ISK to use other stuff that we can do. And then in terms of real life donations, we have a Patreon where people can donate to our real life running costs, which are basically server costs. I try not to push that too heavily because at the moment we're comfortably covering our server costs. So I don't want to be sitting on a big pot of real life money, basically. But if you do want to donate, if you do want to do a monthly donation towards EVE University server costs, then there is a Patreon where you can do that. Or there is also a buddy link. So I should mention that actually, if you are creating a new account, there is a buddy link, which is linked on the donating page in the wiki, where if you use that link, then you get a million skill points and we get some rewards based on how many people we have referred. It's like a referral link kind of thing. Okay, let's move on to some other questions. Jax, can I bring my Drake? Always, Jax. Moo, when I first joined, there was a production team that gave industrial-minded Unistas behind the scenes kind of a way to contribute by building holes and modules. Has there been any talk about doing something like that again? People who don't want to be forward-facing but still want to contribute. Not as such. So we used to have a production team whose job was to make stuff at EVE University. We don't have that anymore because there were a lot of departments, and production was one of them, where people were spending a lot of time doing stuff which actually, in the grand scheme of things, perhaps wasn't the best use of their time. Particularly now that we are 7 jumps away from JITA, most of the time it makes sense for us as a corp, if we need stuff, to just buy stuff rather than having people make it. But having said that, there is an industry, there's like an active industry group where people will talk about industry and how to make stuff and stuff like that. And then you can also make stuff for Unistas. You can make stuff for Unistas to buy. If people need stuff, you can create it for them. So there's no central organized group making stuff for EVE Uni anymore, but there is certainly a need for use for people who want to do industry to be able to contribute. Nosferican asked kind of the same question, I think, about logistics roles. In terms of industry, we do still have hauling. We do have a uni hauling corporation. So if you are into hauling and you know how to haul, obviously learn how to do it first, learn what you're doing, because we don't just want really new players hauling stuff and getting blown up. So practice yourself, get to know what you're doing, just moving your own stuff around and stuff like that. If you then are interested in moving stuff for uni members, we do have a hauling group that you can get involved in to help move stuff for uni. Okay, I think I am up to date with questions. Does anybody else have any questions about anything that I've talked about in this class, or ways that you can get involved? Okay. How do we feel then about getting involved? Do you guys who came to this class wanting to get involved but not knowing how, has this class given you some ideas? Do you have something that you can take away and feel like that, maybe that's something I can do? Yeah, North American. That is a good point, actually. North American said, I've done a lot of mining in high-second wormholes, learned a lot about it, so happy to share the new brave perspective. That's something that we overlook sometimes, is that for a lot of people in Eve University, who are often the people in leadership roles or doing classes and stuff like that, sometimes it's easy to forget what it's like to be a new player. So it's also really important for you to share that perspective. So yeah, absolutely. As a new player, you can share that perspective and help us understand and help new players understand, yeah, what struggles you have and what issues you have. I've just posted a link in the classroom channel to a feedback form. If you've got any feedback on the class, any improvements that you think should be made to the class, anything that wasn't entirely clear, please do go ahead and give me some feedback on it. It'd be very much appreciated. Aside from that, I'm happy to stick around for questions, but otherwise, thank you all for coming. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.